The Book That Risen Then Fallen. Short story by JameliaAlicia. The library was quiet, like a forest of trees swaying from side to side, no whispers or sounds heard from readers and students. Instead, you can hear the flick of pages in old hardbacks, ancient books that had 1,000 lives in one. No commentary and flutter of opinion was heard from the remains of the books, just pure silence. The gods and goddesses was working their way with the readers by secretly chanting protection spells of mundanes while they read books about Greek mythology and ancient Greece. No one knew the veil between the gods' world and the mundane world and shared secrets of everyday life, knowledge to replace the puzzled acknowledgement of forgetfulness. This forgetfulness meant the protection spell worked, and the readers couldn't recall the secret code in the books. Was this good? No. It happened to protect humanity from the underworld. The only mundane person who suspected this was a woman named Elara, who read the book and managed to retrieve information she collected about the book by making notes. No gods did not make this easier. They blurred the notes made and reversed them into Greek. Persephone. Elara had no clue and tried to think of why this happened. Elara was just in the library reading books and wanted to make notes out of curiosity about the world. Elara was the thief of the Greek world, and in a flick of her finger she opened her eyes to the ash. Death, she whispered to herself, and knew she was not home. Underworld. A loud voice chanted while she was standing on the edge of the decaying bridge with little life to it. Elara was breathing heavy, and she turned around with confusion and searched for her phone. She couldn't find her phone and instead projected out a scream deadly to mankind. The scream could only be described as terrifying and grotesque. No was the word that came to her mind as she tried to restrain herself from turning mad. She didn't respond to the voice, and the voice was a slithering snake coming towards her. The snake spoke to her in a ghostly, deep voice that only reminded her of sin she feared to speak of. Adam and Eve. No. Hades. The underworld. Elara was in the underworld that was mentioned on page 320 of her ancient Oracle Greek book. She knew the page numbers and turned mentally in her brain, and that's when the snake transformed into a man. The man was only described as villainous, dark-haired man with coal eyes and coal hair. His walk was slow and intriguing to the eye. He revealed himself by the name Dimitri and had no fear in his eyes. Maybe his story was his defeat with the Greek gods and goddesses. Elara didn't know. She felt a weird flash of lust in her chest and stepped back. Dimitri copied her movements and pointed behind her. Elara turned, and that's when the man disappeared. He was nowhere to be seen. The only thing left was the breezy sound of lava melting into fire. She guessed it. Defeat by Hades. But no, she knows how this story will go. She will have to fulfill this quest by herself and find the answers through any obstacles faced. Then she found herself falling from the bridge into the melting lava. Instead of turning into ash, Elara transitioned into a sea of water. She was greeted by one of the goddesses named Athena at the beach. Athena was tall, lean, with sword and shield behind her, and can only be described as a warrior goddess. This contradicted the song she was singing while Elara was lying on the sand by the sea, which was sung in Greek and told a story of a girl who was trapped in Hades and was captured by one of the gods. The song finished. Elara opened her angelic eyes and found she was in a room surrounded by books. Just like a dream, there were no answers or endings, only an illusion of a parallel world, similar to her own.